I remember having a debate with a friend of mine who said you can't love metal and love the Beatles. So I replied, well, what about Ozzy Osbourne? That shut him up. G'day, Jim Bartell here at Electric Island Studios. Thank you for watching. The Beatles are often a dividing factor for many present-day musicians. From I love the Beatles to I respect what the Beatles did but their sound isn't really epic enough for me, all the way to I've never heard a Beatles song. If you fall into the last category and you need a reference for a good Beatles song, how about Slice of Your Pie by Motley Crue? Motley Crue recorded 9 albums during their career and put out some incredible material, though main songwriter Nicky Sixx is no stranger to borrowing a lick here or there. During an episode of My Favourite Riff, Sixx told GNR Axman Slash that City Boy Blues off the Theatre of Pain album is basically a rewrite of Aerosmith's Last Child.
Oh yeah?
Like pretty much note for note.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Well, no one knows that now. Now everybody knows that.
Now everybody knows it.
If you're anything like me, you would have kicked yourself when you read the Heroin Diaries and realised you missed the nod to Lou Reed when he pinched the lyric, "Take a walk on the wild side."
Take a ride on the wild side.
So what does Motley Crue have in common with the Beatles? Well, quite a lot apparently. Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away is a song that features further down the track list off the Dr. Feelgood record. It has a sensitive timbre and a reminiscent theme unlike other songs in the album. It has some verses, a few choruses, a bridge, and then this. A simple first, second and fourth chord progression with a suspended fourth variation on all three. Sound familiar? Pretty alike, but unique enough to pass it off as an innocent similarity. You may recall one of Crue's better known songs.
You know
The power ballad on the 1985 follow-up to Shout at the Devil, Theatre of Pain, Home Sweet Home peaked at number 39 on the US mainstream rock charts, and the accompanying video lasted over 3 months on the MTV Daily Request list until MTV invoked the unwritten Crue rule, which drops a song's eligibility for the request line after 30 days. I can remember purchasing my own copy of the Beatles' Abbey Road CD and thinking I've struck gold when I heard it for the first time. The Beatles' magnum opus of their career features 43 minutes of some of the best material they ever did, including Come Together, Something, Oh Darling, Here Comes the Sun, and a glorious 16-minute medley of 8 songs, including this one. Sun King is the second of the 8 songs in the medley. But wait, didn't we just hear this one? Looking a little more guilty now for Sixx & Co. But if you're still not convinced, listen to this next one. I bought Dr. Feelgood when I was a kid and I loved every moment of it. Just one of the many great albums that came out in 1989. Following the Girls, Girls, Girls tour of 1987, Motley Crue graduated rehab and teamed up with legendary producer Bob Rock at Little Mountain Sound Studios in Vancouver, the same time that Aerosmith were there recording Pump. The two bands hung out a lot, and Steven Tyler even contributed backing vocals on the song Dr. Feelgood. Crue guitarist Mick Mars recalls Bob Rock bringing a Garnet amp into the studio. He says the Garnet amp was something Bob Rock brought in for me to use. I said this sounds like crap, but Bob really liked it because it sounded real trashy. If you're a gear slut for guitar amps, I suggest learning more about Garnet amps. It's really quite fascinating. Mars also said about the Dr. Feelgood sessions, Steven Tyler was doing vocals with producer Bruce Fairbairn next door, and I remember them yelling at me, "You've got to turn your stuff down, Mick, it's leaking into our vocals." I didn't turn down though, I just told them, "Hey, that's the way I play." Loud. So yeah, I'm all over the record they were doing. Somewhere in the mix, you'll hear me. Dr. Feelgood is still one of my favourite albums to this day, and the song that really hooked me all those years ago was Slice of Your Pie. It blends a range of dynamics, guitarscapes and tempos, showcases some of Nicky Sixx's best songwriting, and my favourite of Mick Mars's badass guitar solos. My favourite part is the spine-chilling halftime outro. However many years later it was that I came into possession of Abbey Road, I remember hearing that song, "I Want You, She's So Heavy," for the first time and thinking, I'm sure I've heard this somewhere before. Now that's a definite likeness, right? But if you're still not sure, just wait until the vocals come in. It's an undeniable rip-off. Yeah, the chords are different, and She's So Heavy plays a 5-chord pattern while Slice follows the standard 4. But there's no doubt that Slice of Your Pie is a Beatles song. Boom! But in all fairness, a big part of the mark the Beatles left on the world wasn't just the songs they put out, but the styles and nuances they brought to the world of songwriting and have been copied thousands and thousands of times ever since. I've wondered for a long time if one of the big reasons why anyone born post-modern era has a hard time sinking their teeth into the Beatles, because the Beatles were such pioneers of pop and rock songwriting techniques that their influence has since been adopted as the norm of almost every pop and rock band, which makes them hard for anyone who grew up after Beatlemania to recognise them as anything special. Personally, I don't care. I think the Beatles rule, and so does Nicky Sixx, obviously. Mick Mars recalls Bob Rock bringing a Garnet amp into the studio. Crue guitarist Mick Mars recalls Bob Rock bringing a Garnet amp into the studio. Bob Rock bringing a Garnet amp into the studio. Garnet and Bob Rock brought. Crue guitarist recalls Bob Rock bringing in a Garnet. Bob was something Bob Rock. Crue guitarist Mick Mars recalls Bob Rock bringing. Bob Rock